Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have the Great Barrier Reef. This is from National Geographic, of course. It's a docu-series. It's actually 3 episodes, about 45 minutes each. I only watched one. I got the gist of it. Honestly, yeah, it's going to be educational. It's going to be. Oh, by the way, this is from 2020. This is pretty recent. It is friggin' gorgeous for the first first thing. I mean, I don't know if you know much about the Great Barrier Reef. The Australians out there obviously probably do. I would hope so. It's it is considered the great the one of the greatest living wonders of the world. That's not just like a great wonder of the world where it's like a pyramid or it's well, the Hanging Gardens is alive too to a certain degree, but Colosseum, I don't know if that's a wonder of the world. I don't know. Anyway, but it's a living wonder of the world. It is the biggest living thing on Earth. And I realize a lot of people, when you think about coral reef or the Great Barrier Reef, you think about, oh, well, it's just a lot of weird underwater plants, right? And just they're plants, and maybe they're bugs or they're weird fish, and they all live together under the sea, and they look like just an alien landscape kind of stuff. And it's not completely wrong, but no, I mean it's more alive than you understand. Beyond being the foundation for an ecosystem that is unlike anything that we experience as humans here. We are completely separate from it. It will go on, assuming we don't kill it first, which is entirely possible. If we just suddenly disappear tomorrow, that thing would flourish, unlike anything we've ever seen in history. Well, I mean, any of the stuff that we left behind kind of would probably get out of control and destroy the Earth. But either way, if we never showed up, let's just say, this thing would be flourishing. In fact, many centuries ago, I couldn't remember how long it was, but it wasn't too long ago that the area where the Great Barrier Reef, it was land. It was the original the natives who lived there. They would hunt on that land, and they would, fish and do all sorts of things. But eventually, it transforms with the tides and everything else to become something else, something completely unique. And this, honestly, this is these kind of things tend to bore me. I'm going to tell you right out up front. We get a lot of documentaries, and by the way, after January, Disney, let's just say in December, I reset everything at every quarter. December, Disney added a lot, and I mean a lot of documentaries. So get ready. It's probably the biggest dump of new stuff they've had in a long time, and most of it's documentaries. Anyway, we might be seeing a lot more Barrier Reef type stuff on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I have no idea. Probably mummies and sharks and stuff. But in this case, this is super interesting because it's visually, it's stunning. It is breathtaking. There's times I regretted looking away because I know I missed something. There's narration throughout the entire thing explaining what happened, what is going on, and what could happen. It narrates the drama between various types of fish and how they protect each other and how they disguise their scent and how they hunt and how they do all these other things living within the reef. It's like a living city. The fish. Imagine New York City, but the buildings were alive. It's just a little terrifying. And in fact, sometimes those buildings fight. There's actually there's a lot of footage that is super close up, and there's also a lot of footage that's super sped up because if we just watched it normally, it would take forever. It would take days, weeks, whatever. And I kind of have to hand it to them for being able to, I hope, from what I could tell, they were able to capture so much of this without disturbing any of it in any noticeable way. Because I've seen other things like this. We've seen other documentaries about, I don't know if it was necessarily about the reef, but about the sharks that live at the reef and things like that. They just, how they hunt and how they move other fish around and then strike, and there's fish flying everywhere, and it's just crazy. Honestly, at one point, this thing did get horror show intensive, and it wasn't sharks. It was a snail. Yeah, a snail. There's a snail. I forget what it's called, but it's got like a protuberance. Snail found a fish that was sleeping. A sleeping fish. Very pretty sleeping fish. Usually fish are a little bit more careful about how they protect themselves. But this fish was asleep, just floating there. And this snail comes creeping up, right up to his face. And he emits some sort of chemicals that paralyzes the fish. And that's when he strikes. He starts pulling like this. He extends this kind of plastic bag, basically, plastic grocery bag of stuff around the fish to the point he just pulls it right in, and then it starts getting less paralyzed and starts struggling, and then it kills it with its other protuberance inside. You get to watch the whole thing, and it's unsettling that it's a snail. Somebody in the world is eating those things just because they can. They're probably poisonous, but whatever. But holy cow, there's actually a lot to see in this, and just 45 minutes, and there's 2 more episodes. And while I doubt I'm going to get around to ever watching the other 2 episodes, if they're anything like the first one, holy cow, it's not what I expected. So yeah, if you're going to watch anything, even if you're going to watch it with the sound off, you will be drawn into this thing if you have any interest in this kind of stuff. Yeah, that grouper, super ugly, not interesting. Not these is the least interesting thing. I don't know why he's advertised. There's turtles. There's lots of turtles. There's actually a sped up time lapse camera of the turtles finding this specific island in the reef, where they suddenly all go there super well, and it looks to us super fast, but they go there and they do all their digging and laying eggs and everything else, and then they all take off, and it's incredible to see. It's some pretty amazing stuff. Honestly, I would tell you if this thing was just and it's we've had some pretty exciting stuff the last few days, like Willow and the zombies and all sorts of other stuff, and Avengers Infinity War, that kind of stuff. But if you're going to look at a documentary, if you're going to look at any of the documentaries about coral reef and fish, and you actually want to learn something that you probably didn't already know, unless you already are a person who's educated in that stuff, this is pretty dang intensive. You learn a lot, and it's not like it's not too erudite. It's not like it doesn't feel like school, let's just say. It is interesting. It's the kind of thing you could probably throw on for your kids, and they might be creeped out and go, "Ooh, look at the weird, gross fish and all the sharks." And there's just a lot to see. And I know I haven't even touched the surface on this, and I have already talked 8.5 minutes about it. But holy cow, it defied expectations. Let's just say. So yeah, check it out. Honestly, the Great Barrier Reef, and it is one of the most important and most beautiful and just incredible parts of our planet. And they don't make any pitch to say, "Oh, we need to protect it or save it," but we gotta do whatever we can, because if there's one reason, I mean, there's plenty of reasons to do what we can to keep the ocean safe. Just looking at this will make you go, "Oh, we gotta protect that. That cannot go away." And there are reefs all around the world, including parts of that one, that are in danger because of our stupidity. So that's my environmental pitch for the day. So let's pick tomorrow's episode.
181.
Oh, don't have to scroll far. 181. Oh, well. Going to the other part of the Pacific Ocean. Excuse me. I think we're going to watch a classic animated short from Mickey Mouse. And back in an era when they just couldn't stop doing stuff about Hawaii. This one is Hawaiian Holiday. So, that should be pretty easy for tomorrow. Hawaiian Holiday starring Mickey Mouse in the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.